Located within Georgia's remote western Imereti region, Katskhi Pillar, sometimes referred to as Katskhi Column, pokes out of the rural, rocky landscape. Located around 200 kilometers or 125 miles west of Georgia's capital city, Tbilisi, the pillar is notoriously difficult to reach. There are no trains in this region, so the only way to get there is by car or bus, but it's definitely worth the trek. The pillar is made from limestone and towers more than 40 meters or 130 feet into the sky. On top, you'll find one of the most isolated and sacred churches on Earth. The site is called the Katskhi Complex. The famous church on top of the pillar was built in the 9th to 10th centuries and was dedicated to Maximus the Confessor, a 7th century monk. At the top, you'll also find a burial chamber, a wine cellar, and 3 hermit cells, among other things. Katskhi Pillar is often referred to as the Pillar of Life and a symbol of the true cross because of the religious significance it has. The pillar had remained unclimbed by anyone from outside Katskhi until 1944, when an expedition led by a Georgian mountaineer and a writer headed to the top for new, modern studies. At the time, the buildings on top of the pillar were thought to have been constructed in the 5th and 6th centuries, but after these new studies, that estimate was changed to the 9th and 10th centuries by the Georgian National Museum. The first monks began living in the church on top around the 10th and 11th centuries, and that tradition remained undisturbed for quite some time actually. A monk named Father Maxime was the last person to live on top of the pillar, and he was also the one who built a new church up there in 1995. Today, the site is still regarded as one of the most sacred places on Earth. Local monks are now the only people allowed to make the trek to the top, and the daily pilgrimage to say their prayers up there is said to bring them closer to God. Although you can't climb the pillar, there is still lots to see at the complex. The entire complex was restored by a state-funded program in 2009 and continues to be looked after in order to allow visitors to experience close to what existed more than 1,000 years ago. The site is located hours away from any main airport, so only dedicated tourists, religious people, and Georgians make it out here. Make sure you're one of them.